Right. Welcome back to another episode of Straight Live Podcast. And we got a special guest with us today, Arianna Jones. How you doing, Ariana?
I'm doing good. How are
Thank
you
you. I'm
doing?
all right. Thank you for coming out, man.
Thank you
It's a
for
pleasure. It's a
having me.
pleasure. How was the ride in?
Oh Lord, the ride was long. I I'm from Virginia
Hmm.
and it's normally about 5 hours on the train,
Yeah.
but the train I booked, there was a 3-hour layover in Philly
Wow.
for no reason.
Wow.
So we were just sitting on the train, not moving, looking crazy for 3
Crazy.
hours.
Crazy. I know you was upset about that. Hey, look. So, Ariana, tell the people a little something about yourself so that they could be aware who you are, what you do, where you come from, where you was born, where you was raised at.
So I am an actress, writer, producer.
Mm.
I studied at NYU. I'm originally from Charlottesville, Virginia, very small town. But I work a lot up here in New York, and I've been fortunate to make some good connections with some good people up here after going to NYU.
That's what's up. So you said you're an actor, right? So what are some of the films that you was featured in?
So I have a new film that just dropped. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Blood and Ice. That is a drama slash action film.
Hmm.
And then I have a film called Bottom B that just came out on Tubi. I'm also in Blood Money, which is on Amazon Prime. Those are my three newest films. And the film that everybody seems to know when I
Hmm.
mention it is Goosebumps too,
Oh, you
which
was in Goosebumps.
I was in
Oh,
Goosebumps.
that's what's up.
That was my first feature film ever. And I was an extra in that movie. I was one of the cheerleaders in that movie, but it's been one of the most popular
Hmm.
movies that
Yeah,
I've been in.
gotcha. What age did you start acting?
I started at age 16.
At 16.
Mm,
What made you want to become an actor?
um, so I was always a dancer and a cheerleader. I did all-star cheerleading. So I went around the country, different states, to different competitions, performing with my cheer team. And I found the Goosebumps audition for a cheerleader.
Oh, all right.
And I was like, well, I know I can book this because I could flip, I could do anything
Yeah.
that they would need for a cheerleader to do. So I was like, this is something great for me to audition for. And I ended up booking it. And then, ironically, that was the biggest set so far that I've ever been on.
Hmm.
And when I went down there, I had to go to Atlanta to film it.
All right.
When I went down there and when I was on set, I was like, this is so fun. This is like the
Hmm.
coolest thing I've ever done. And so after that, I just wanted to keep up with it and ended up going to NYU and
Mm. So you
now,
went to school for acting?
yep.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. So you was 16 when you landed the Goosebumps. That was your first feature movie that you was in that you ever did. And so was it something that you was thinking about before actually you did that, or it just so
um,
happened you ran across that ad, you went and did it, and it was like, oh, this is actually.
I really saw myself as more of like a dancer or a gymnast
Hmm.
before that. Um, and the funny thing is, like, I would do little plays here and there. And I did another play when I was in like middle school where I also played a cheerleader.
Oh.
So for a long time, everything I did revolved around dance or cheerleading. And then I kind of just ended up in the right place at the right time. And I realized that I had like a, a deep love for being on set,
Yes,
like being in front of the camera and being around all that action that goes on the set.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So you said that you seen the ad or somebody presented it to you for the Goosebumps role at
Um,
16?
so what actually happened was, um, at the time I was in high school, I was like 16, so probably sophomore or junior year, and I had a hard time in my drama program. I never really booked much.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, maybe I can go out and look for other things outside of just high school drama stuff. And I saw the casting call for it. And I was like, oh, they're looking for cheerleaders? I know I can book that role because I'm a cheerleader. I do that well. And I ended up booking
So,
it.
what was that feeling like going there? Like, what was the feeling like when you went there? You said you went to Atlanta. So, how
Yeah.
I first walk us through the steps. So, you seen the ad. You all
Mhm.
you what you had to fill out for it.
Yeah. So they asked me for some pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I sent them pictures of me in my cheer uniforms. Um, and then they asked me for a little short video audition.
Mm-hmm.
I sent all that to them. And then at the time, I didn't really have an acting resume because
Yeah.
I really didn't act in much before that point. But I guess they saw what I could do. They saw me in my uniforms. They knew I had a lot of cheer experience. And that's how I booked it. And I remember my dad took me down to Atlanta for a few
Was
days.
you nervous?
I was not nervous at all.
Oh, you wasn't.
The main thing I was worried about was my mom because she was not happy.
Yeah.
She was mad that I was missing school to go film a movie.
Gotcha.
But my dad's more like the chill parent. He's the one who's like, just let her go. Let her do it. So my dad took me down there. And to be honest with you, I wasn't doing much the whole time I was on set. I was an extra. I'm
Yeah,
not one
yeah,
of the lead characters.
yeah.
So um I did my hair, my makeup, and they put me in the cheer uniform. And for most of the day I was just sitting there
Gotcha.
waiting for my time to be on camera. But I still had so much fun.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
just like the energy
Yeah,
of
just the
being on the
fact that
set.
yeah, I can imagine. Because even if I was
Yeah.
an extra in the movie, I probably would have been hyped too. Like so it's a good thing though. At 16, that you actually got to experience that at such a young
Mhm.
age that it actually influenced you to want to keep doing. So from that point on, you said that's when you just said, you know what, this is something I want to do.
Yeah, after having that experience, I was like, imagine what it's like to be like a lead character and be here every day and you get like just I don't know how to explain. It's just the energy of being on set. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
So
after
what?
that, I was like, I want to do this forever.
Yeah, what was your next movie after that?
My next movie, it was a film in Florida. I shot it in Florida. It's called Raveland, and I was originally a main character in that movie, so I was very excited when I booked that role.
Mhm.
But at the time, I was a student at NYU,
All right.
and it was also around the time where like COVID was going on, and some of my classes were online and stuff like that. So I remember I was in Florida for about a month filming that movie, and then they wanted me to come back to film some other scenes once I came back to campus at NYU. And I just wasn't able to because I had classes all day. And so they had to change things around with the script.
Uh-huh.
And now I think I'm in like maybe 4 scenes. I went from being one of the leads to being like barely even in the film, but it was still a very good experience.
Yeah, it's always. So no matter if you, like you said, 4 scenes,
Right.
extra, as long as you getting the experience,
Right.
and you keep working hard, eventually, you know what I'm saying, it'll come, So you said that you went to school at NYU. So how did that happen? Did you always want to go to school up here, or did you wanted to do it because of the acting thing, or
So like I said, I always saw myself as more of like a dancer.
yes?
Um But when I got into drama, probably like halfway through high school, I did do some things with my high school drama program. Um, and I always heard the kids in the program talking about NYU. Like they wanted to go to NYU because it just had a very good reputation for their arts programs. And so I did some research, and at the time that I applied, NYU was like third in the nation for
Mm-hmm.
the acting program. And I was like, okay, I'm going to apply. I'm going to see what happens.
Yeah.
And I never looked at myself as like one of the best actresses or actors in the program because, like I said, I would never get a lead role in my drama program in high school. Um, like I feel like the drama teacher, she always overlooked me. And that could be for a number of reasons, but I really just applied thinking like we'll see what happens. I might not get it, but we'll just see. And I was the only one out of all the kids in my drama program who made it into NYU. So I feel like maybe it was just meant for me to be there because, like I said, after going to NYU, I made a lot of good connections with a lot of good people. And that might not have happened if I
Mm-hmm.
stayed in Virginia or went
Got
somewhere
you.
else.
Yeah. Sometimes we gotta leave our neighborhoods to go
Mm
explore different things and to get that break. You know,
hmm. You're right.
I growing up in Charleston. You said Charleston,
Charlottesville.
Charlotte.
Mm hmm.
Tell us what was young Ariana like. Like, do you when you look at your acting career now, right?
Mm
And you look at your and you remember your youngest self, do you see yourself being where you are now?
hmm.
Or like, do your peoples tell you like, you just always, you're not, because some parents just know like what their kid
Yeah.
gonna be.
You know, it's funny because my grandma was that person who was always like, she's going to be special. She's going to do something different because I was born on Thanksgiving.
Mm. So your birthday is Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Oh.
November 23rd. Sometimes it lands on Thanksgiving, sometimes not, but I
Yeah.
was born in 2000.
Yeah.
So my mom was in the hospital on Thanksgiving. And you know, Thanksgiving, despite all the controversy behind that
Yeah.
that holiday, it's like a special holiday for African American people. That's when we all get together, we all enjoy family time, you know. It's become an important holiday for
Yeah.
African Americans. And so me being born on Thanksgiving, my grandma was like, okay, that means something. This kid is going to be something special.
Yeah.
And she always said that. Rest in peace. She's not here with
Oh,
us
God bless her.
anymore.
God bless her.
But I always felt like I was a creative person.
Hmm.
I love to draw and paint and write. Like, aside from acting, I just like to be creative. Any setting I can be in where I get to show my creativity is like, I feel like I'm thriving. But I really never pictured myself as an actress until around age 15, 16 when I got into high school. I always looked at myself more as like a dancer.
Got you. Got you. So what are some of your biggest challenges in your life?
um, I think that my biggest challenge thus far has been my location up until this point, because
Hmm.
what I told you before we started rolling is that I'm relocating
Hmm.
to Los Angeles. But growing up in the middle of Virginia,
Hmm.
especially as a black woman
Yeah.
in like the very rural areas of Virginia,
Hmm.
it's very hard. You don't get a lot of motivation being in that area unless you have like the drive within yourself.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get stuck and just settle in an
Got you.
area like that. So I'm excited to move to a different place. I know when I'm in New York, I have a lot more motivation.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping that California will give me that same kind of
Do
energy.
Do you have like a lot of like friends? I know you don't have no family out here, right? You got a lot of friends out here.
I do.
Is,
Yeah.
do you come out and you said you come often up to New York?
Yeah. At one point, I was here like every week or every other week.
Oh, traveling from.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
back and forth between here and Virginia.
gotcha.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Well, I travel from Jersey back and forth. That's not as far as that, but that's
Yeah.
still a ride. So I can imagine coming from Virginia all the time. what what are you passionate about besides acting?
I what a lot of people don't know about me, only like my close friends and like my professors from college, um, is that I'm a poet.
Oh,
I
I did read that.
I write poetry and I love writing. Like when people read that I'm a writer, they normally assume that I'm talking about screenplays. And I do write a lot of screenplays, but I love writing poetry. And for a few assignments in not high school, in college, I remember I instead of writing an essay, I would write like a long poem and I
Mhm,
would submit it to my teacher
mhm.
and I would be like, this is what came to mind. But it's on topic and I just wanted to do something creative and they would always accept it. I'm kind of like sensitive about my poetry. I don't share it with a lot of
Yeah,
people.
that's what I was going to ask you next. Like, are you one of them outspoken poets, or you just like a diary poet?
Yeah, I normally write it and then I keep it to myself. But if I had to pick like what I'm most passionate about aside from acting, it would probably be poetry.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What influenced you the most about your career?
um, actually, I remember my grandma. My grandma, she let me give you a little bit of backstory. So, um, like I told you, we're from Virginia,
Mhm.
and for as long as we know, our family was in Virginia, so it's likely that our family comes from we're the descendants of slaves who worked plantations in that area. Um, so we didn't really come from too much.
Right.
We were kind of poor for a few generations. Um, and I remember spending a lot of time at my grandma's house and her telling us stories about when they were younger. And my grandma told me a story one time about how she entered herself into like a monologue competition,
Mm.
and how she won. And she was supposed to go to like the regionals or the nationals, I forget. But she was supposed to go to like this bigger competition and compete acting in that competition. But her parents didn't have the money to send her. And so she just never knew what might have happened after that point. And when she told me that story, I was already like into acting.
Mhm.
I already had filmed Goosebumps and a few other films, and I already knew like this is what I want to do. And then when she told me that story,
Yeah.
I just thought, well, maybe it was like in our legacy. Maybe it was meant for our family to have an actress or an
Yeah.
actor in the
Yeah.
family.
Right.
And maybe since she wasn't able to fulfill that, maybe now it's meant for me to take on that role. So I always remember her telling me that because it's not like she told me that and then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to pick up where you left off. I had already decided that I wanted to be an
Yeah.
actor,
Absolutely.
and I
Yeah.
had no idea that my grandma had that experience. And then once she told me that, I was like, okay, maybe,
Yeah. Maybe it's meant for me.
maybe this is why.
So I hear you talk about grandma a lot, right?
Yeah.
So do you come from a big family or is it tight knit?
A huge family.
And y'all all get along.
Yes.
So was you like one of them kids that would be like 10, 15 of us at grandma's house?
Yes. So, back in the day, they had a lot of kids.
Yeah.
It was
I come from a big family too.
it was normal back in the day for them to have like 10, 15 kids. So, my grandma on my mom's side and my grandma on my dad's side, they had a whole lot of siblings. I think my mom's side, she was one out of 8 kids. And then my dad's side, she might have been like 1 out of 14 or 1 out of 15. And then on top of that, where I'm from, it's such a small place.
Yeah. That's normally.
You go to Charlottesville, Virginia, everybody is my cousin.
Gotcha.
Or my brother or sister.
Yeah.
And we have a huge family on both sides.
So how many siblings do you actually have?
I have 8 siblings.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I thought I had a lot.
I have 4 brothers, 4 sisters.
Well, that's what's up, man. Well, congratulations on the big family. So, is that something that you look for in the future with yourself? Like, once you get your career together, like, to have a big family like that?
Yes, I would love to have a big family, but emphasis on the get my career together
Yeah.
because that's what I'm focused on mainly right now. Um, I always see myself having a very successful career and a very stable and happy marriage before I start a family. But then again, you never know how the Lord is going to work and what's going to happen. I would be happy for it either way, but yeah, that's what I see.
Got you. What is something that people misunderstand about Arianna? Is it Arianna?
Yeah, you said
Arianna?
it right,
'Cause
Arianna.
my oldest daughter name is Arianna. But she spelled it She spelled it with 2 A's. 2 A's.
2 A's and 1 N?
Yeah. No, 2 N's.
Oh, 2 A's and 2 N's.
Yeah. She spelled it the
That is
wrong way.
unique because everybody I meet, they spell it just like mine except for 1 N, and I have 2 N's.
Yeah.
And then also, people always say Arianna. It's Arianna for me. But I think the thing that people normally assume with me is that, and I think it's because of like my calm, chill demeanor, they think that I'm very serious.
Yeah.
And I take life very seriously. I don't. I'm very I love to have fun and laugh, and I'm very goofy, to be honest. I'm not very serious at all unless it's a situation where I have to be serious. The people who are close to me always say that I'm really funny, but
Gotcha.
people who don't know me are like, "You're funny?" I don't see you being funny.
What is your biggest fear in the acting career?
Oh, in the acting career.
Yeah, we gonna get on the general statement in a minute, but we're just talking about as far as your career right now. What is your biggest fear?
As far as my career, I think my biggest fear is quitting. I don't see myself ever just giving it up and saying I'm not going to pursue it anymore. But I hear so many stories about people who started at my age and they didn't get their big break until they were like 40s or 50s. But I am a firm believer that if God put it in your mind and he gave you that vision, he gave it to you for a reason.
Absolutely.
As long as you keep at it and you don't give up, it's coming to you eventually. So I don't see myself ever being like, oh, this acting thing is not working and just throwing in the towel and forgetting all about it. But my biggest fear as far as my career would be getting to that point where I just don't want to do it anymore.
Absolutely. So what is your biggest fear in life?
My biggest fear in life. um, there's not too many things that I'm afraid of. I'm gonna be honest. But I'm really like big on like my relationships and my friendships. Um, which is sometimes a good thing and sometimes a bad thing, because I'm a big overthinker, and sometimes I stress myself out worrying about what mark I leave on somebody or how they view me, especially people I care a lot about. My biggest fear is like somebody I really love passing away and like not knowing how much I cared about them or loved them. You never know how long anybody is going to have with you. So
Yup.
I try to show people how much I appreciate them and love them whenever I can, because you never know when you might not have the chance to talk to that person or give them love anymore.
Yeah, that's definitely true. What what excites you?
A lot of things. I'm a
Oh,
Sagittarius.
I'm a Sagittarius. Welcome to the club.
When is your
The
birthday?
15th of December.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm a
okay.
December
Yeah.
Sag.
I have a lot of December Sag friends. We get along very well too.
Uh,
Like everybody says, Sagittarius, we're adventurous. We like to do crazy things. So
facts.
when I was younger, I grew up in the country, so
Mhm.
like I would be outside climbing trees and exploring nature and stuff. So, I kind of had to make the most out of what I had.
Got you.
Had to learn how to make something out of nothing because I grew up in the middle of nowhere, but we still found out how to have fun.
So, my fault to cut you off.
Mhm.
How did you transition from down there to New York when you came up here for school?
It was a crazy transition. I'm not gonna lie.
Was it like, whoa, slow down, yeah?
I loved it and
Yeah,
I soaked it all in, but the friends that I met up here, they would kind of guide me. I'm not going to lie, I came up here with a very southern mentality.
do
Like
you feel like you was lost when you first came? Like completely lost, or you felt like, nah, I had it.
no, I mean I was, if I'm being honest,
Yeah,
but I didn't feel that way. I felt like, "Oh, this is great. I'm having fun." I remember like for example, there was a little bodega, like right on the corner from where my NYU dorm was. And I would go in there like almost every day. And there was a cashier that worked there. And every day I would go in there, I would be like, "Hey, how you doing? How's your day going?" And I would start up a conversation with this man. And one time my friend went in there and she was like, "Why are you talking to this man?" You don't know him. You don't know what he might do to you.
yeah,
You can't just talk to everybody like
yeah,
that. But I'm from down south. That's what we do.
yeah.
You'll be like in the store. You'll see somebody you
Speak.
never
Yeah.
seen in your life before, but you'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" So,
Not in New York. They rude.
right. So I had to learn real quick that it's just a different way that you have to move when you're up here.
Yeah.
But it's not because you are stuck up. It's not because you're trying to be rude. It's because you have to be safe in an environment like this.
Yeah, I don't. And me, like, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I don't feel like you gotta. You can be who you are. It's
Hmm.
just a lot of people have that mentality, so they think that's what it's supposed to be,
Right.
and it's really not supposed to be like that. And a lot of people are not really like that. It's just that everybody think that it's like that, so everybody go around acting like that when
Right.
it's really, you know what I mean?
Because, and I said this a bunch of times before, I think that, and this is my personal experience, but I think that the friends that I've made in New York are more genuine than the friends that I have
Yeah.
down south.
'Cause-
Down south, we have that southern hospitality,
yeah.
like stigma, and people feel like I have to be nice to you because that's what I'm supposed
Supposed
to
to do.
do. up here, it's like if I'm nice to you, it's because I genuinely like you and I want to
Yeah.
be nice to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I don't owe you anything,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna be fake to
Gotcha.
you. So,
So you feel like down there was like, I guess, like you said, people was just nice because they had to be nice. So it really wasn't no real
yeah,
friendships out there.
I've ran into a lot more fake people down south than up
Mm,
here.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So you kind of adapted to the up here mentality quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lifestyle. That's what's up. Nothing. What would be the best advice as a mentor you would give somebody that if they wanted to become an actor?
My advice to anybody who's first starting off is to create the roles that you want for yourself. Whether you're a writer or not, whatever role you envision yourself playing, get somebody who can write if you can't write yourself
Mm-hmm.
and just write a little scene, shoot the scene, and then use that scene to send off to directors or writers or producers that you want to work with. Because just like any other job, like they want you to send in your resume before they're going to give
Yep.
you the job. But a lot of times you're just now starting off and you're like, how do I get experience if nobody wants to hire me if I don't
Exactly.
have a resume?
Exactly.
So sometimes you just have to make an opportunity for yourself to then open more doors that can lead to bigger opportunities. I remember I filmed myself in my house just acting out a few different monologues, and I would use that as my reel to send out to casting directors or writers or producers who were casting because I hadn't been in anything yet. But I have to have something to show them that I can act. You might not have seen me in anything yet, but I have this talent. So my advice would be don't wait around for somebody to give you a chance. Make the opportunity for yourself.
Got you. Got you. Great advice. Um, is it hard getting roles?
It is.
Like,
It really is because um a lot of times it doesn't even really come down to your talent. You can be the most talented person who auditioned, but you could be 3 inches too short. Or
got you.
you can be African American and they're looking for an Asian person. Or like it could come down to just how you look. And you just have to fit that role, you know? Just because you get rejected doesn't mean that you gave a bad performance.
Got you.
And that's one thing I have to remember, and one thing that I had to learn doing all these different auditions. I've done hundreds and hundreds of auditions.
Yeah.
You're going to get rejected more than you're going to get accepted.
Do that get tiring? Do you sometimes be wanting to throw in the towel, but you just stay motivated?
I
Or
think
you just one of them people that just nope, keep going.
I think yes, especially when I was first starting out,
Mhm.
it did get tiring because I didn't know how it was when I was first starting out. I thought that I would do a few auditions, I would land a good role, and then the rest
Boom.
would be history.
Yeah.
But it's not like that. If you ask any of the great actresses or actors in the game, like Viola Davis or Taraji P. Henson, they probably did hundreds of auditions before they landed that role that really
Mhm.
put their name on the map. Um, a lot of people go into it thinking that it's going to be a lot easier than it is. A big part of being in the industry is patience. As long as you know that what you're destined for is going to come to you eventually, then you just keep at it and you trust in God's
That's it.
timing. You know it's going to come to you.
So, what is some of your best resources that helped you through this?
My best resources as far as like finding auditions and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, like yeah, motivation, finding auditions,
Oh,
helping
okay.
you when you down, and that keep you going.
Um so as you guys can probably tell, I I was definitely raised in the church. I'm Christian. I read my Bible. I have a prayer book that I just recently bought. Um has a bunch of different prayers that are good for different scenarios or situations that you find yourself in. Like, one, for example, is like for career success, or like a prayer over your family, or stuff like that. I am very spiritual. And so that's what keeps me motivated personally. But I know not everybody is religious. Um, so I think that finding motivation within yourself really just comes from like whether or not you're passionate about what you're doing. I tell people all the time, if you just want to be famous or you just want to be rich and you're trying to become an actor because you want fame or
Yeah,
you want fortune,
this ain't for you.
no. You're not going to be happy being on set for like
Yeah,
12 plus hours a day. You're not going to be happy submitting all these auditions all day long and you get rejected like 90% of the time. That is going to drain you. There's so many ways to become rich, so many ways to become famous. You have to find what you are passionate about. I never wanted to act because I wanted to be rich or because I wanted to be famous. I started acting and I realized this is so fun for me and I
gotcha.
love doing this. You just have to find, and a lot of people takes them a minute to find what that is, but my advice is just try different things until you find what you genuinely love to do. And I guarantee you can find a way to profit off of it and live off of it. You might just have to be creative, but
So that's safe to say that's who you talk to when you feel stuck. Like you
mhm.
go to God. That's what's
Yeah.
up. Nothing like a God fearing woman. What do you? Who do you consider your biggest competitor?
Myself.
So what is who in the acting industry? Who are some of the people you look up to?
Angela Bassett. Everybody asks me that question, and it's always the same answer. I love Angela
Yeah,
Bassett.
that's my girl.
Angela Bassett, Viola Davis, Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer. I always look up to the African American women who came before me because I don't have many references as far as African American women in the industry. So
Mhm.
when I do see an African American woman doing her thing in the industry that I'm trying to emerge into, that's very inspirational to me. So all the black actresses, to be honest with
Got you, got you.
you.
What is something that you learned recently that you would have thought it would be as far as in the industry?
Hmm.
Like
Um,
something you probably was like exposed to or something like that.
so the first thing that comes to my mind is more like a life lesson, but it definitely is relevant in this industry as well. Um, I recently learned how to look at rejection as more of like a blessing than a setback. Because I used to think like when I had something planned out and it didn't go my way,
It
that
was
it
the
was
end of
like,
the world.
right, it was a
Hmm.
bad thing. But I now realize that sometimes what we have in mind is really not what's best for us. And when things don't work out, it might not necessarily be a bad thing. It might just be
Just not your time.
right. And it might be making room for something even
Bigger.
better to
Yep.
come into your life. Like, for example, me going to NYU, like one of my top schools aside from NYU was a school in Virginia, and I got into some very good schools, and
Mhm.
for some reason this one school in Virginia rejected me completely, like not even the wait list. They just said straight up no.
Mhm.
And I got into NYU, so I was like, okay, I'm going to go to NYU. And I think that that was a blessing in disguise because had I stayed in Virginia and gone to that school, I might not have met all of the people that I met, and I might not be on the same path that I'm on right now if I never ventured out and did something different. So maybe that was the
Absolutely.
Lord, like, don't let her into the school because if
Yeah.
she gets in, she might stay in the same spot and she's not meant to be in this place. So, learning how to look at rejection as more of a blessing and like God staring you in the right direction as opposed to like something bad.
Got you. Got you. Give us a life motto that you use.
Um well, I always used to say that my motto is like work hard, play hard, but I don't know if I still live by that anymore, but I always used to say that because I think that it's important to like reward yourself and be grateful for how far you've come. A lot of people who are like very driven and ambitious, they're so focused on moving forward all the time and progressing, they forget to like stop and look back at where you started and how
Mm-hmm.
far you've come and just be grateful for that and reward yourself for that. And I think it's necessary to give yourself that you know, give yourself that time to celebrate how far you've come. I was not very good at that for a while, so I'm practicing that now. So work hard, play hard, allow yourself to have fun, and just give thanks for how far you've come.
Mm-hmm. 2026. We just came into the year 2026. What was your New Year's resolution, if you had one?
Oh shoot, I didn't make one. um, hmm. Yeah, I don't think I made. Well, no. To be honest with you, it might have been to move out of Charlottesville, Virginia. So I guess I accomplished that.
Yes.
Because I did say before the end of January, I'm going to be out of here. And I'm out of there. But besides that, I don't know if I made a very specific New Year's resolution, but I am the type of person who likes to do a vision board
Mm-hmm.
each year. And I have a bunch of things on my vision board.
Got you. Got you. All right. So you said your grandmother is what shaped you most, right? So when you are going through certain phases and things like that in your life, do you get big support from your rest of your family, like your parents, your siblings,
um,
or is it just like, yeah, we see you, Ari, do your thing, girl, or they like all the way in?
I, I am very reserved, which can sometimes be a good thing and sometimes not a good thing. I would not encourage other people to be as reserved as I am. Like, if I have a problem, an internal problem, I keep it internal.
Well, that's Sagittarius shit.
Yes,
But the only thing bad about that is because it's like when it come out, it's like it
right.
come out.
Then it's a problem for everybody because now we're going off on
Yeah.
everybody in the room. Yeah, I kind of hate that I have that. Um and I'm trying to get better at communicating and talking to people, but I normally tend to just deal with my problems by myself. I always find a way to handle it by myself. Um But I wouldn't give that advice to anybody. I think it's good to have somebody that you can go to, whether it's a family member or a friend that just will listen to you. And even if they don't know exactly what advice to give to you, just have somebody that you can express
Yeah,
yourself
yeah.
to.
No judgment zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's something unique about you?
Mm, Something unique. I don't know. Um, I like to think of myself as a normal person, but I'm sure I'm not. That's a hard question.
All right, so
That's
we go
probably the hardest question.
we come back to it. What you see different in yourself so far in the beginning in January 2026 that you feel like you left behind in 2025?
Hmm. I think after 2026, I kind of stopped stressing over things that I don't need to stress over. And I've like made it a point to do that. Um I feel like if you just relax and you just let things flow to you, it's so much easier than like trying to force things to happen
Yeah,
that might not even be meant to
for it to happen.
happen in your life.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm just letting go and letting things flow to me this year.
So you a big reader? Are you?
I used to
Used to
be,
be. Give
and
me
I'm trying to get back into it.
give me three of your favorite books.
Oh, Lord. Well, like I said, I used to read so much, but I haven't for the past few years. But I recently got Finding Me by Viola Davis, which is kind of like a biography, kind of about her life and her journey. And that book is written very well. It's a very beautiful book. So that's definitely one of my favorites right now.
Gotcha. Gotcha. What do we got coming up this year?
This
What's
year,
what can the people expect from Arianna Jones this year?
this year I am starting something new next month, shooting in Atlanta. I won't say too much now, but
Gotcha.
um, that's coming up, and I
Is it? Can we know? Is it a movie, a show, a
it's a
series?
movie,
All right, gotcha,
yes, and I'm hoping to. A lot of things are in the works, and I don't like to speak on things too early,
Yeah.
but I'm hoping for a lot more film projects in 2026. And also, I am trying to get back into dancing because, first of all, I'm out of shape now. So I got to get back active. And like I said, that was like my first love as far as performing. I always looked at myself as more of an actor, a cheerleader, and I did a split the other day and I was like, Lord, I really let myself go. So I'm trying to get back into dancing too. So might be some more dance coming up too.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So you said we could expect a new project coming out this year. Trying to get back into dancing.
hmm
That's what's up. And then you're making a major move. You're also relocating.
Yes, relocating to Los Angeles.
Okay, that's what's up. LA. Oh, that's gonna be a whole different experience.
All this snow is not going to be there. I guarantee you that.
Me and my wife, we were talking about California too the other day. That's crazy. Yep. So, I said, what's next for you? Before we wrap it up, what is something you want to leave the listeners with? Like, what is something you want them to know about you that they might not know or have misconfused about?
Um, so like I was kind of saying earlier, a lot of people who don't know me personally don't know how like silly and goofy I am, and like I just love to have fun and do crazy silly things. And then like I was saying about the motto that I love to live by is work hard, play hard. Um, it's great to be ambitious. It's great to be driven and to have your mind set on where you want to be in the future and be locked in with your goals. But you always have to remember to allow yourself time to relax, allow yourself time to just breathe and have fun, do what makes you happy. Hopefully, your work makes you happy, but like really give yourself time to just focus on you and do what you need to do for yourself mentally, physically, whatever. So, that was something that I had to learn over time. And that would be my advice to other people who are working really hard towards a certain goal. Sometimes you get caught up in work and you forget to just let yourself breathe.
Take a breather. That's what's up, man. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being on the pod. Thank you for taking that long ride to come see us.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. Let them know where they can find you at if they wanted to follow you. If you got social medias, YouTubes, link trees.
Yeah, I am on Instagram at ok.ari, okari. And I don't really use anything else. You can follow my TikTok, but I don't post too much. My TikTok is Ari Jones with 3 I's, Arii Jones.
Gotcha. Thank you for tuning in, Straight Live Podcast. Arianna Jones, thank you for coming out. It was a pleasure having you. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe to the page so we can keep giving you these dope interviews. We out.
Hey, hey, no, I don't do no credit.
KVHN.
No, niggas know where it's headed.